The Hidden Heart of a Billionaire by Gary T. Halkip. Ethan Carrington had everything the world could offer. A fleet of private jets, mansions in 3 continents, a tech empire valued at over $20 billion, and a face that graced the cover of Forbes more than once before the age of 35. But what the headlines never captured was the one thing he didn't have: trust. Every relationship Ethan had felt filtered through the lens of his fortune. The conversations turned transactional, the laughter too rehearsed, and the affection always felt like an investment someone hoped would yield luxury. He couldn't tell whether people liked his ideas or his bank account, whether they loved him or the lifestyle he offered. One night, as he sat alone in his Manhattan penthouse with a half-drunk glass of Bordeaux and an untouched dinner, Ethan decided to conduct the riskiest experiment of his life, to vanish from his billionaire identity and live, for a while, as an ordinary man. He created a new persona: Ethan Hall, a modest freelance app developer who had just moved to Brooklyn. He rented a 1-bedroom walk-up apartment with peeling paint and creaky floors. He ditched his Rolex for a $40 Casio and traded his Bentley for a Metro card. No assistants, no security detail, just himself and a backpack. He joined a shared co-working space filled with struggling freelancers and bootstrapped entrepreneurs. Here, no one looked twice at him. No one asked for a selfie or investment. It was refreshing. He felt invisible, and oddly, more alive than he had in years. That's where he met Grace Ellis. Grace was a freelance graphic designer who also worked part-time at a non-profit mental health center. She was witty, sarcastic, fiercely opinionated, and unafraid to challenge anyone, especially tech bros who overused buzzwords. Ethan, used to being admired or avoided, was caught off guard when she interrupted his conversation one afternoon to correct his misused design term. "Just say you don't know how user interfaces work," she said flatly. "No need to abuse the word minimalism." Ethan burst out laughing. She didn't. The more he saw her around the space, the more intrigued he became. Grace wasn't impressed by wealth or status. In fact, she seemed suspicious of it. She lived in a small apartment with 2 cats, biked to work every day, and spent her weekends volunteering or painting. She was passionate about causes, empathetic to strangers, and unapologetically honest, sometimes painfully so. They began talking, slowly at first, short conversations during coffee breaks, debates about design and ethics, then longer chats at nearby cafes. She found his awkwardness endearing. He found her bluntness refreshing. Weeks turned into months, and friendship deepened into something more. But there was a problem. Ethan was living a lie. Every moment with Grace made him feel more real, more human. Yet every word he said without telling her the truth made him feel hollow. He told himself he was protecting the connection they had. But deep down, he knew he was just afraid of losing it. Grace had a rule she often repeated: no masks, no performance. Either we're real or we're wasting time. Ethan was running out of time. One rainy evening, he invited her over to his apartment. The lights were dim, the room quiet except for the sound of rain tapping on the window. Grace curled up on the old couch sipping tea when Ethan finally spoke. "There's something I need to tell you," he said, voice low. She turned to him, puzzled. "My name isn't Ethan Hall, it's Ethan Carrington. I'm not just a freelance developer. I'm the founder of Carrington Systems. You've probably seen my name somewhere. Forbes, CNBC, maybe even Reddit memes." He paused. Grace didn't move. "I didn't lie to hurt you," he continued. "I did it because I've never known if someone would love me without the money, the title. I was tired of being seen as a brand. I wanted to be seen as a man." Still silent, she set her mug down slowly and stared at him. Not with anger, but with something harder to read. "Do you even know who I am now?" she asked. Ethan blinked. "Of course I do." "No," she interrupted, calm but firm. "You fell for someone while pretending to be someone else, and you made me fall for someone who never existed." The silence stretched like wire between them. "I need space," she finally said, grabbing her bag. I don't know if I fell in love with the man in front of me or just the story he told. She left that night without looking back. Ethan didn't return to his old life immediately. He stayed in the Brooklyn apartment, walked the same streets, even kept working under his fake name. Now, stripped of illusion, not seeking romance but reflection. For the first time, he understood what it meant to be vulnerable, powerless in the realm of love. Weeks passed. Then, one morning, as he sat at their usual cafe, reading aimlessly, Grace walked in. She looked the same. Sharp eyes, quiet confidence. She walked up to him and slid a folded note across the table. He opened it slowly. The man I fell for was honest, kind, and flawed. He just made a mistake. Let's find out if we can build something real together. Ethan looked up. I'm still mad, she said, but I also know real is rare. So don't mess it up. He smiled, not the polished smile of a CEO used to cameras, but the unsure, grateful smile of a man who finally got what he truly wanted. Not admiration, not applause, just a chance to be loved, honestly. Postscript, stories like Ethan and Grace's are fictional, but their essence mirrors real experiences. Billionaires like Carl Rabbiter and Chuck Feeney chose to give away their fortunes to live more authentic lives. Some have gone undercover to test whether love or friendship can exist outside of status. The question remains timeless. In a world driven by appearances, can truth still win? Maybe, just maybe. Yes. Thank you for listening Dreamland podcast from Zalanga Media at 10:30 p.m. daily.